These last few months have been very interesting to say the least. And even as businesses start to reopen, there are a few longer lasting changes that are just going to be here. And one of those is that there will be fewer in-person events and conferences. A big part of my business is actually live streaming in-person events where you have somebody on stage giving a presentation, often with a slide deck on the screens behind them or to the side of them. And those type of presentations are still going to be important, and luckily we can still make them happen. In this video, I'll break down how I actually set up a live streaming presentation that's going to allow you to see both the presenter and the slides at the same time and still make it look good. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome, my name is Nick Palkowski, and on this channel we dive into all things video and live streaming and how you can use them to help grow your business. And this technique that we're going to be talking about today is one that I've been using for years. Really enjoy it because it allows your virtual audience to see both the presenter on screen as well as the slides at the same time. And before we jump in to go over exactly how to create this effect, I just wanted to mention that it offers a ton of flexibility. You're going to see a couple designs here. I'll kind of walk you through how I create and the general design that I like to use, but there's lots of flexibility in the designing that you do and the way you create it, as well as the software that you use in order to create it, so you can find the one that works best for you. I will show you exactly what I use and how I go about it, but you feel free to experiment and use different software and different techniques as well. So let's dive in and go over the big picture of this. I refer to this technique as picture-in-picture slides, or PIP slides for short when typing out or creating any of these documents. So the first thing we need to do is actually go in and create the PNG file that is going to kind of be the outline for everything that we're doing. So I like to do this in Keynote actually, so let's jump over. This is a file where I have a few of them already saved. You can see just a couple basic designs here and the way they look. And again, you can kind of create this with multiple cameras in here. So the way this is going to work is you're going to have the main camera kind of over in the corner, and then you will have the slides taking up another big piece of the picture. And you can adjust this, make it however you would like, so that the camera can be bigger and the slides smaller. I like to generally have the slides take up about a little over half the screen. So here it's probably closer to 3/4 of the screen, or at least 2/3 of the screen real estate here. So that's what I kind of like to do in terms of width-wise. And then I'll place the camera and have it fill up a decent amount of that spot as well. And again, you can do this with 3 cameras. You could do even more than that if you really wanted to. 3 is probably the max I would do. I've only ever done that once or twice. Or you could easily do 2-camera presentation along with the slides if you have somebody who's going back and forth on their slides. So let's start from the very beginning and just create a new slide. I'm going to walk you through my exact process for this. So first thing I like to do is I am going to usually change the background. So you can either go ahead and change the background just in general, and I also don't need any of the text pieces here, so I just get rid of those. So you can change the background here, so now we have our background piece. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a square for the slides, a rectangle for the slides. And now you can really do this in any configuration that you want in terms of size and relationships based off of the slide deck that you're going to be using is what I really recommend. But what we're going to do here is we're going to take the normal 16:9 aspect ratio, which is 720. Which is 720 by 1280. And so we're going to see if we can get all of that there and see how much room that actually takes up. By 1280. So that is about the normal aspect ratio for any widescreen slides, which is 16:9. That's what that right here is going to be. Now what I like to do is I want to turn the color fill. You could leave it at any color. I like to turn it to black It just kind of helps me when designing the slides and then removing that inside here, because we need to remove this inside piece and we'll need to remove the camera piece in order to create a PNG with some transparent spaces. So let's say what I usually will do is then add the line here, the border around the outside, and I like to take it pretty thick, and as you can see, this one is 15, so that way you see this nice little border here separating that background. Remember, people aren't going to see the black. The black is just kind of a placeholder for right now. Now, we need to add our camera shape. I'm going to do the rounded rectangle, and this can really be any size you want. Again, you kind of get to control that. I'm going to go right about here. I'm going to make it a little more square. And again, I'm going to turn this black, and then we're going to add the border, and you can kind of see this, how this looks right here. Now, if you notice some of these other ones, I do like to add kind of that white piece on the bottom. I think it just adds a nice little element. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It doesn't have to be white. You don't have to put this there, but I like to just add it because I think it adds a nice little style element to this, this graphic. So we're going to go ahead and do just that. And I am going to add on a drop shadow up towards the top here. There we go. Just gives it a little more depth. Now, I am going to bring in this image right here, which is basically my little logo. I'm going to shrink this way down. I'm going to mask out the top of this, and I might as well mask out the bottom of that. So now we have this right here, and I'm going to make that a little bit bigger so you can actually see it. Get it lined up nice and centered, and there you have it. We have a logo there. But now I don't want to have this green here because that definitely does not go. So I'm going to go ahead, and I know what the hex number is for this. B51C14 should be a nice red. Yep. And then we're going to do the same here. Get that matching red. Oh, helps if you click on the right shape. B51C14, and then we have that red as well. And there you have it. That is kind of the quick way to design this graphic. Again, only limited by your imagination. If you want to make the slides into stars or have any other cool little elements there, go free. Feel free to do so. You can kind of really experiment. Like maybe I want to even switch this around and go have this part be white, and we're going to turn this to black, and then instead of this logo, I'm going to bring in this logo. Whoops. Did the wrong spot there, dragged it right into the mask, but I'm going to do this logo, and then we're going to mask it down. But I do not want it that big, so we're going to go. Maybe we're going to do something like that. Again, only your imagination is limiting you on this, so I'm going to leave it at this for now, and let's go ahead and export, and we're going to export it as an image. I only need the first slide here. And really, you just take high quality here. We don't have the ability to do PNG because we created the way we created this. We need to turn it into a PNG. You can have it be a PNG, but it's not going to have the transparent elements that we need just yet. So let's hit next. And I'm going to save it right here. And then what is going to happen is I'm going to head on over and find that image here, and we are going to open it with a program called Pixelmator. That's what I like to use on this computer. I like to use Pixelmator. You can use anything that can, you can use Photoshop, anything like that. Once we're here in Pixelmator, all I need to do is then tap here with the magic eraser to take out this space and make it transparent. We're just taking out those two black spaces, making them transparent. And then I'm going to export it again as a PNG. And we're going to save it right to the desktop. And there we go. We have our graphic now created for this element of creating the pip slides. Now what we need to do is actually bring it into our live streaming software and build that camera scene. So let's jump into my other computer because I'm going to take you through VMix and how to actually use this with VMix. I just want to break in here and say hopefully you're enjoying the video. If you are, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know that you like it, as well as subscribe to the channel. It's a great way to show your support for this channel. It's really the best thing that you can do. And also it will help make sure that you don't miss a single video, because I have many more live streaming tutorials getting ready to drop here in the next few weeks. So you're not going to want to miss out on those. Now, back to the video. Okay, so we're on my other computer and I have VMix open and we're ready to go now. And I already brought in the PNG to this computer. So now we need to go ahead and set up kind of the camera scene. So I'm in VMix and you're gonna notice I have a different organization system kind of up here. And in a future video, I'll go ahead and run through my entire organization for VMix. I've mentioned it briefly in other past videos. You can go check those out if you're interested. But let's talk about actually setting up this scene. So the very first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna need to bring in your camera. So here we have this one over here. This is the camera I'm gonna be using for that. And you can see I have it right here. It's the USB capture SDI. So this camera is gonna be kind of that main camera image. We're gonna use that for now. If you are, if you have a guest who's presenting, you're gonna wanna use their camera in order to see their face, but you can kind of set that up however you need to. Now let's go ahead and bring in the actual graphics. So I'm going to go add input, and then I am going to go to image, hit browse, and then I'm going to go, I have it in this folder here, and we're going to have to scroll through a few things because I have lots of images in this folder. There we go. That's the one we just created, the pip slides 0.001. Hit open. Hit OK, and now that has, as you can see right here, brought that image in. Now this is just an image, so if you quick play it, you can see there was some of that overlay there. You'd have to do it as an overlay, so let's quickly cut and play this camera, and then we have this as an overlay, so you can see there's the full cutout spaces here. So this is what the image will look like, and we're going to replace where the camera is now and with some other items. So I always like to have just the raw images, the raw inputs here. I usually keep them over in media. But let's jump to the camera, and we're going to go by this add input. We're going to hit the little arrow, and we're going to add a blank one. Now, and then we're going to hit that gear button, and then go down to multi-view. So we're in multi-view right now. And let's see, I know I have a camera, I have slides, and then down in the 3, I'm going to bring in the pip slides. And I brought that piece in there now. I'm also then going to go up to 1, and I am going to bring in the camera. So that's USB capture SDI. So there you can see the camera is right there. Let's get that camera into position first. So I'm going to hit position on that overlay. It takes me to overlay 1, and I'm going to zoom on down. And you can kind of play around with where you want to zoom. I'm actually going to reset this, and I'm going to keep it at 1 for now. So I'm going to then go to the pan X and slide that over. So if this is what I want the box to see, this is mainly what you're setting up right now. What do you want the camera to see? This is probably a little too zoomed in, so I'm going to actually back it off just a little bit. And you're going to be able to play with this and kind of find the perfect amount for you. But we're at 8.2 right now. Let's get it lined up in the center, and let's assume I'm not going to be moving from this position. And then I'm going to bring it up so you see a little bit more of my face. And again, you can zoom all the way down and then bring it all the way up like so. So we can go something like this if we want to incorporate more of the scene. Or if you are doing an in-person live presentation, you might want to see more of the stage or allow for more flexibility as they might move or sway or kind of walk around the stage. But we're going to leave it at this. I'm going to zoom it up just a tad more so you can see some things as we go ahead and create that. So we're still in the center. I'm going to bring it down. Now you're going to notice we have a bunch of stuff kind of over here hanging out. I'll show you how to get rid of that in 1 second. But first things first, what we're going to be doing is, because we don't necessarily... Actually, I'm going to pause and kind of tell you how to get rid of this now. If you go up here to cropping, check the cropping box. You have the ability to crop the X1, the Y1, X2, Y2. So if I take X1 and I kind of start moving this all the way over, you notice it is getting rid of it from the left side there. So you can see where that cropping is affected. Y1 is going to crop it from the top. So you can see how that's affected. We obviously want to crop it from the right side. So I'm going to go line up here. Now the thing is, because we have the camera as overlay 1, when we add the slides to overlay 2, that would have automatically eliminated it. So we really didn't need to crop it, but I wanted to show you how to go ahead and crop that. But now we're ready. We got the camera set in the exact position we want. We need to bring in the slides. So let's go back over to multi-view. And I believe, I can't remember for sure if I did, but I believe I brought in slides. Let's see if I can find them. Yep, right there. SMB MAD PowerPoint slides. They're starting on slide 39. So there you go. Brought those in. And as you can see, the slides have overtaken the camera because they are in overlay position 2. So the camera's the bottom one. Then we have the slides, and then we have the graphic on top. So now let's readjust our position for our slides. I'm going to zoom that on down. And I'm just going to make sure I have enough space and then kind of bring it over. And you're going to see it's actually not too bad. Ideally, the slides should take up the entire box. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit of adjusting with your graphic if you made a different style graphic. But then let's bring that up. There we go. And that looks to be about perfect, or at least super close. So now we have all 3 of our multi-view positions set and ready to go. So let's jump out of here, and I'm going to quick play that just so we can see what that looks like in the main screen. And there you go. You can see, and I have the slides automatically looping. And you see it's a little bit off, so I might go back in and adjust the slides so that it shows the full slide at the side. Because you can see they're getting cut off just a little bit on this side, which means I need to kind of shrink things down. But that's really what you need to do. Just kind of play around with it, adjust it, tweak it until you get the slides perfectly exactly where you want. And then you're set and ready to go. And now just also to kind of mention, I do like to set up shortcuts with these. So I'll set up a button that will bring up this exact pip slides by just hitting that. You can do that on your keyboard. You can do that on an X key, or many different ways. We'll go have a future video that dives into setting up those triggers and those shortcuts, setting up those shortcuts and triggers as well. But what you're basically doing here is you're going to have 3 different scenes now that you can switch from very easily to keep things dynamic, keep people engaged, and still show them everything. So you're going to have the first one here, which is the... Oh, and you notice I still have that on the overlay. So let's take that overlay off. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to have your main camera, which is just the camera of either you or your presenter, full screen, just showing them that. You're going to also want to have just the slides, because sometimes, especially if they are very have a lot of words on them, or there might be times where you just want to throw the slides up and let people see the full slides in the full screen. So you're going to have that ability. So you want to make sure to keep that as something as well. And then you're going to have your pip slides that combines all of that together in one main thing. And then I also recommend not only setting these up, having a trigger for those 3 so you can quickly switch back and forth between those, but you're also going to want to have a trigger that's going to allow you, and I have this set up to automatically start transitioning. Normally I don't recommend doing that, but you can go ahead and set up a trigger that is going to allow you to go to your next button on your slides. That could be an arrow key on your keyboard, or it could be a special key on X keys. Again, we'll go over all of those in a future video, but that is going to make things super easy for you when it comes to transitioning your slides here during an actual live stream. And just like that, you're ready to start live streaming your presentation in a dynamic and engaging way. Now, if you're looking for a full tutorial on the new Facebook interface for live streaming, which is Facebook Live Producer, be sure to check out that video, link in the description, as well as a video on how to build lower thirds, which are gonna help you add more even in kind of an engaging professional element to your live streams or to your produced videos. And until next time, I will see you in the next video.